So after way too long time waiting, we finally got our first trailer for the live action Lilo and Stitch film. Now, if you didn't already know, I love Lilo and Stitch. It's always been one of, if not my favourite Disney film. It made up a massive part of my childhood. And when I found out they were doing a live action, it was going straight to Disney Plus. I had my concerns, but then at D23 last year, they put out the design and said it was going to be going to theatres, and I was really excited. And you know what? Despite me not being the biggest fan of these live action films, and I'd just rather get a new and original film, I couldn't deny how excited I was for this film, just to relive it again. And we've kind of been getting little snippets and stuff, but never footage from the actual film. We got a Lion King related one for when Mufasa came out. There was one for when Moana came out on like a beach. And at the Super Bowl recently, there was one of live action Stitch just running around the baseball field and doing stupid stuff. But what really had me concerned is the film comes out in just a little over 2 months, and we hadn't seen any actual footage for this film. But we got the first trailer this week, and when I tell you, I am so happy, man. I think this looks absolutely amazing. So with that said, let's go into my thoughts on this trailer. And I just think it looks so good. It just, in small words, I think Stitch looks amazing, and I just think they captured his antics really well. And there's just so much heart to this story, and I really think this is one of those ones that does translate quite well to live action. And they kept Chris Sanders, who voiced Stitch in the original 2002 film, and you just can't do his voice, man. It's just such an amazing voice of how he does Stitch, so you can't deny how good that is. We finally get our first look at Lilo. I think Lilo's really good. I think the girl playing her is doing a great job, really captures her personality, who's quite quiet but also has this confident side to her, and who has this also side where she's bullied and not treated very well, things like that. And that is just what packs the emotional punch with this film, and I really think it's going to work really, really well. If you can do it really well in animation 20 years later, I think it can work well in live action. And we also get our first look at Pleakley. We didn't get our first look at Jumba, but Pleakley and live action Mike Wazowski, basically. No, I actually think he looks really good. I've seen some people saying they massacred him and didn't do a very good job. I actually think he looks probably as best as possible. I couldn't really imagine a better version. However, the CGI does look a bit clunky. Obviously, it's not quite finished yet, so there is a little bit of room for it to improve. Didn't show Jumba, weirdly enough, which in some way has me a little bit concerned, because we've literally got no time until this film comes out, and we're already not showing all the characters. So I don't know, but something I did find quite good was how in the original they dress up as like humans and put like makeup and fake moustaches on and things, but in this one they've actually got like technology that helps them disguise as real humans. I think that's actually a really smart thing to do. It's, it's a way to save a bit of the budget, and also it translates a little bit better to live action, and it's not that big of a change, and it still gets the message across. So, I appreciate that. And we also get this space scene where Stitch escapes at the beginning. Really, really good, I think. I really like how with all the aliens and characters, they kept the cartoony look to them. They don't look like they've gone too realistic and too live action, kind of like what the Lion King does, where it's just photorealistic animals. Like, they do look really cartoony still, and I really appreciate that they didn't feel the need that they just needed to change it for the sake of changing it. So I thought that looked really, really good. Another character who we didn't actually see, weirdly enough, was Gantu. I've heard some rumours that he's not actually in the film, but I think that would be really weird if he wasn't in the film. I don't think it'd make sense for him not to be in the film. But he wasn't in it either. And this kind of thing I'll talk about in a minute. However, another thing I really did appreciate is how it balanced out both old and new stuff. One of my big issues with all of these live action remakes, and including the How to Train Your Dragon one, which comes out literally like a week or two after this one, is they're just like yeah, we kept it all the same. We didn't change it at all. You know, script was word for word and scene by scene, shot by shot. And it's like, yeah, you have to be faithful, but what is the point in doing a reboot live action if you're not going to add a single thing? It's like, then what? Why would I ever watch this one when I could just watch the original? So I really did have some concerns there with this one, but they're actually adding new stuff with this one. And it's even like small bits. There's like there's a scene in a car which wasn't in the original, where Stitch is like pulling out CDs and trying to drive the car and things like that. There's another one where he's drinking out of a lava lamp and things like that. It's just like, it's just added stuff, and I appreciate that, because, you know, we didn't get that in the original. So I really think we do a better job when we add stuff. So one of the reasons why the Jungle Book live action and the Beauty and the Beast live action are probably my favourites is because they're very faithful and they understand what people loved about the original, but they never feel the need to just play it safe and not add new stuff. Like, they add new scenes and they change the formula a little bit. I mean, we add a couple plot lines and just take a couple bits out that didn't work. It doesn't even need to be loads, just a little bit to make it a little bit different, that it's not just, you're not just watching the exact same thing, just in the real world. So I did appreciate that, and I'm really, really glad they did go with that. I just also think in general it just looks beautifully filmed, and I'm really excited just to this is one of those films where I'm really excited to experience it again in a different form. Do you know what? I think this is going to do very, very well at the box office. I don't think people should underestimate the power of Lilo and Stitch, because people love Stitch. I mean, there was the 3 other films, the Lilo and Stitch 2, there was a Stitch solo movie, and there was one with the Red Stitch called Leroy, and there was also a TV series as well. It's like, whenever you go into like the Disney shop or anything, they're always caked with Stitch stuff. Stitch is very, very popular, and I don't think you should underestimate how popular he really could be. I also really appreciated that they included the ice cream guy who always drops his ice cream. So it's just small things like that. I'm happy with them to keep those sorts of things. And we also see Nani and David. No issues there. I think they both look great. They think they're doing a really good job. So no complaints there. Kind of see some of Lilo's bullies as well for a little shot in the car, like with the toy car, for literally a couple seconds. Very, very small though. I've seen a couple people complain about the surfing scene, and I really don't have a lot of issues with it, because I think that is a hard scene to get right in live action. I think that's a much easier thing to do in animation than it is live action, because it's just like the shots in the water and the waves going above and things like that. It would cost a lot of money to actually do it with the green screen, and both in real life as well. And they're already spending enough on the CGI and things. So obviously we only got a little shot of it, but I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it looks as good as it can be. I'll say that. Also get a shot of Cobra Bubbles. Now, do you know what? I think he looks great, but man, I am really sad that you can see his eyeballs. Why can't they have the shades where you just can't see his eyes and they're just like Men in Black glasses? I wish we had that, but you know, we can't complain about everything. So that is kind of everything I've got to say about the trailer. I definitely do want to bring up, though, just a couple concerns. I still just can't get it out of my head why we've waited this long for the trailer. Why didn't we release it at the Super Bowl? And this is what's worrying me, is, are we just showing the best bits of the film here, and really the actual product isn't all that great? I really don't want that to be true. I want this film to be good. I want it to do well. Do you know what? I really support Disney, but I just can't get it out of my head, because Disney are one of those studios that also releases trailers really early compared to like franchises like Paramount or Universal, and they just didn't with this one. And it's like a 2-month gap really isn't a lot. So it might just be that the trailer wasn't ready. It might have been the CGI was a bit iffy, things like that. We don't know. I just think a couple signs are, not seeing Jumba, not seeing Gantu, and the councilwoman, like, we didn't even see her face, and it's just kind of like, are they hiding it because it's not finished? It doesn't actually look that great, or they're really not in the film that much. And keep in mind, this was supposed to be a straight to Disney Plus original, and if you look at Lady and the Tramp, that film, the live action one of that, it was a good film, but the budget wasn't as high as the other ones. So, could the CGI be a bit iffy? The one on Pleakley does look a little bit. It's just my concern, though. I really don't know. And maybe when I'm saying, I hope they add stuff, maybe they're just showing little snippets. Maybe these are just montage stuff. But I don't know for now, man. I've got to say, though, I couldn't help but have a massive smile on my face when I was watching this trailer. I think it looked absolutely amazing, and I just cannot wait for this. I love Lilo and Stitch, and I really hope this one does well. I hope it can pack in the same level of heart and soul, so newer generations can experience that. Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. There you go, I got it there. So, I don't know, I am just really excited for this at the same time. Whether we get a second trailer or not, that also might define my concerns a little bit. Disney normally puts out 2 trailers, but it's been a weird thing in the film industry recently with films like Kung Fu Panda 4 or Madam Web, for good reason for that one, that they just release 1 trailer. Usually shows that they've not got a lot of faith in the film, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see on that one. However, with that said, guys, that is going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do comment, like, and subscribe, share this video with your friends, family, and let me know your thoughts on the first trailer for the Lilo and Stitch live action. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somewhere in the middle? Where do your expectations and excitement levels lie? Did you grow up with Lilo and Stitch? All that fun stuff. I am really, really excited. It's definitely one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I just cannot wait to see this film come to life. And, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. And so, yeah, that's all I've got to say with this one now, guys. But I'll leave it off to you. So thank you for watching. And we will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.